Welcome. My name is Rebecca Naux, and I am the owner over here at Balance You Clinic here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And what I would like to share with you today is the Earth set of QiGong, one of many, of course. But this is emphasis on the transition and the transformation of our being when it comes to changing into a new season. A new season can be physical, right? We're going, at the time of this recording in particular, is the transition from fall into winter. But we know in our life we have many seasons. And calling on that transformational transition type of energy, which is of the earth, is really important, and it helps us to have grace with ourselves when we're in that transformation, in that transition. It helps us to digest what is happening, what changes are happening in our body physically, emotionally, spiritually. And we're at a really good time to call on the earth and to be with the earth and to ask our sweet mother to help us with this transition wherever we are. All right, well, let's begin. All right. So let's just start with having our feet hip width distance apart. So usually I just use my feet to kind of measure. And remembering just some basic stuff is finding your belly button and just go down about 2 inches. And that's your lower dantian. And that's what we reference when we're talking about the lower aspect of our power and our energy. And then just to get a little bit of basics, if this is your first time with QiGong, you're going to trace it all the way around to the back. And right at that point is what we call it's the L2 area. It's the bottom of the spinal cord. And in utero, when conception happens, there is the spark that happens between when the egg meets the sperm. And that combustion, that spark, creates the new beginnings of the spinal cord. And then that develops, and then there's the brain and the organs and then the body. So we, in Chinese medicine or Taoist traditions, they believe that that is where our DNA lies. So it's where the beginning happened, and that makes sense. And so when we're coming back to our lower dantian, thinking about that sweet moment of conception, and it might be the conception of a new phase for you, a new birth, a new beginning for you in this lifetime. And so when we go back to this point throughout the class, reference that. Going back to source, I like to say. But what does that source mean to you? And that's the beauty of being an individual, but being a part of the whole, that you can feel it how you need to feel it at this moment. So be graceful with yourself. And then there's one other point that I want to point out, all the puns intended. And so feel the inside of your hand, and you feel that heat. It's just right dead center in the hand. That is our source to be connected with our heart. And we're going to go over that a little bit more when we dive into waking up all the meridians. And so I just want you to feel that point and compare the temperature to the rest of the hand. And just notice what that feels like, because it's really warm compared to probably the rest of your hand. At least me, I always have cold hands. So that's really nice to feel that heat always. All right, we now shall begin. So let's bring the hands onto your lower dantian. And just taking a moment, closing the eyes or softening the eyes. And just notice what you're feeling in the room that you are in right now. Notice the sounds, the sensations. And start to bring some awareness to your feet. I often like to think about roots growing out from under my feet, down through the concrete of wherever I'm at. A lot less go through if you're on the earth, but in the cold times, it's not always accessible. And just rooting down, imagine those big fat roots just diving into the ground, creating a strength for you to express through. Thinking of your body as a large tree. A tree that wants to be very strong and upright. So notice what that changes in your body. Notice the space that starts to create in the ankle bones, up through the knees, into the pelvis. And thinking about that bright, beautiful, wonderful tree, thinking about opening up the spine as it levitates up toward the ceiling or to the sky, creating even more space through the neck and through the top of the head. And taking a moment to really embrace this pause, feeling of being strong and tall and expressive, but yet rooted through the feet down into the ground. Strong foundation. Very nice. And then release the hands, breathing in, extending the arms out to the sides, rising all the way top. And as you are gathering, think about gathering what is not feeling really good, things that are feeling stuck. And as the hands come together and pressing down, clear that stuck, stagnant blockage, that sensation in your body, as if you're a little squeegee on a window, clearing out any leftover residue that's maybe fogging your vision. Allowing you to clear that through the whole entire system. And as the hands go down below your dantian, lower dantian, shake it out. Just let it go. Allow the earth, our sweet mother, to take all that stuck sensation and absorb it to create something new. Feels good, doesn't it? And then let's take another deep breath, gathering what feels super sweet, soft, inviting. And just taking that sweetness, maybe it's the sweetness of sitting by the beach and listening to the waves, or taking a walk down a beautiful forest path. Or maybe it's just watching your kids or your grandkids smile and laugh and giggle. So take that sweet sensation and fill your cells up with this actual sensation that you're feeling. Pure sweetness. That is the flavor of the earth energy in Chinese medicine theory. And so just embrace that. And let's just seal that in. Let's breathe in again, gathering and sealing that beautiful sweet sensation back. And filling our cells, our million, trillion, quadrillion, however many cells you got. There's so many. And just filling each and every one of them with this sweet, sweet sensation. And then let's just rest our hands onto our lower dantian again to feel that. To seal it back into the source from where we began. And take a pause. Notice how you're feeling now. Let go of some of that stuck, stagnant stuff, whatever it is. Thoughts ruminating, stuck in your brain, the monkey mind. We learned about the monkey in the summer with the 5 animal frolics. It likes to bounce everywhere and just keep repeating patterns. How can we get out of that race? chaos and bring it down into something that's very quiet, very soft, and very inviting. Very good. So now that we've cleared space, what I want to do is engage all the 12 meridians. So we're going to learn all about the meridians. In our tradition, we call them channels. I like channels because meridians are like a line on a map. And a channel kind of more represents the flow of some stuff. So whatever it is, right? Whatever channel it is. So let's just tap in and wake up all of our channels. So we'll start with the Renmai. Renmai is the first vessel that was formed. And so all you're going to do is bring your hands onto your chest. And you're just going to rub down the center of your belly, down to your pelvis. Over and over. And think about the soft, comforting caress in the front of your body. Maybe even close your eyes for a moment and take it real slow and just enjoy these sensations in your body, the sweet, soft touch of yourself. We often don't touch ourselves other than just to get dressed or to wash our bodies, but to take extra moments to feel our bodies, to connect with ourselves. The Renmai, the conception vessel, is one of the first vessels to be formed in utero. After that spark happened, this is one of them. We're going to start with this one and we're going to end with the second one that's formed to make a complete circle, much like the earth is. One big spherical circle. All right, so now we've engaged that sweet conception vessel. And then we're just going to go to one side. It doesn't matter. I'm starting with my left. You can start with your right to mirror me. Or you can go to opposite. It doesn't matter. But what we're doing is going through the inside of the arm. So the inside of the arm is the vessels of the metal and the fire. And so that is the lungs, pericardium, and the heart. So the energetics of these vessels is the lungs is our way of intuition and receiving from spirit. Physically, you breathe in oxygen so that you have life. And so let's think about prana or chi. We want to move that chi through the heart in order to express love for others. And so it's how we show up in the world with our vibrant, loving self. So activate that. Let's go to the other side. Same idea. Thinking of how you express love to others. How do you use your intuition? And maybe you're craving a little bit more of intuition and the ability to have more of a clarity of knowing things when you need to. And most of the time, that's just about opening your ears, listening, being still for a little bit, practicing some QiGong. All right, so now we've activated the fire and the metal, yin, and then we're going to go down to our feet. So you're going to feel the top part of your toe. So this is the liver. You got the spleen on that inside of the foot. You got the bubbling sweet spring, which is the kidney. And so these three vessels go right up the insides of the legs. So same thing, caressing up the channels, up the center of the body, activating right at the Renmai again, around the breast tissue, around to the side. And let's just kind of flip that. Let's do that again. Breathing in, activating the liver, the kidneys, the spleen. So what are those energetics? The sweet liver is about creativity and expressing and starting new projects. That's why it's relative to the springtime, when there is new beginnings and there is new birth. And so the creative needs some will in order to perform this, and that's where the kidneys come in. The kidneys are all about your willpower and your ability to have that gumption to be able to get that project moving through because you know it's what you need to do. The spleen helps us hold the capacity in order to perform these things. And that is a part of the earth channel. So breathing in one more time, coming up the inside of the thighs, up the center, around the side. Very nice. So maybe taking a pause and feeling what that sensation of the yin organs bring to you. Maybe feel a little softer, a little calmer than maybe when you first began this set. So now we're going to activate the yang aspect. So yang is movement, right? Transformation stuff. So we're going to start with the stomach. And so you're going to go, just want to show you from up close. So you want to start here. It goes down by the mouth, up through the jaw, up to what you think of as like the widow's peak, and then back down, and then we'll go down. So sometimes a little bit closer to see it, right? So right below the eyes. And so I like to use either the tips of the fingers or my fingernails just to kind of activate just a little bit more. So you're doing an acupuncture treatment on yourself today. And so we're going to go up through the jaw, up. So that's widow's peak. Back down, through the jaw, down the neck, around the clavicle, above and below. So this is an area where a lot of stuff gets stuck. A lot of us people with neck pain, and we hold our shoulders up and we look at computers all day. So I like to add a little extra attention to that area. And then come down through the nipple line of the chest, down the belly. And then when you get down to the pelvis, you're going to do like loose fist. So we're just going to go down, thighs. When you get to the knees, open the fist. Just be gentle with your knees. And then fist again, down the front of the shin, down to the top, to the two middle toes. Sorry. I do know my anatomy, I promise. So first toe, second and third toe. So the second and third toe is the stomach. Let's do it again. So coming down, through around the mouth, around the jaw, up, back down, around, back and forth over and under the clavicle bone, that big old bone, the collarbone. Most everybody knows that. Down to the belly. Down the tops of the thighs. Very good. One more time. I like to do a lot of things in threes. It's funny, today is Thanksgiving, and it's 11/23/23. So I just did the numbers. I was like, oh, that's an interesting number combination, and I add them up, put them together, and guess what? It was 3. I was like, today's a beautiful day. It's the day of Trinity. It's when we all come together, love on each other, eat lots of beautiful, wonderful, loving food. And with all that turkey, maybe take a nap, be nice. I am really looking forward to a nap this afternoon. I'm really hoping that's what's going to happen to myself. So I thought I'd start today with a little QiGong, meditation, just some clarity in order wanted to open up my gratitude even more for everybody that I love. And that's that earth, right? The earth of feeling grateful for your food and your nourishment. This last one, down the knees. Very good. So now we're going to activate the gallbladder channel. And so the gallbladder, it starts, just another close-up, but it starts right at your eye. So again, fingertips, then you're going to go around, right around the back of the neck, and then come up to the top of the shoulders, and then around the armpits, around the sides, and then down the hips. So just smack the sides of your legs, down the sides of the shins, down to that fourth toe. That's the end of the gallbladder channel. And often people in treatment, they say, oh, I don't have a gallbladder. I took my gallbladder out. I'm like, well, you still have the channel. And it may cause a little bit of pull on the channel itself without the organ, but still the jury's out for me on that because I don't really know. But I do know that you still have a gallbladder channel, you still have the energetics of it, and they can remove all the organs, but you still got the energy flow, which is a good thing. Back down. Down shins. Perfect. I don't know if that was 2 or 3, but I'm going to assume it's 3. All right. And so now we got the bladder channel. So the bladder channel starts right at the inner canthus of the eye, like right where the teardrops are. And then it goes over the head, and then it goes down the spine, all the way down. So what we're going to do is a little different. We're actually going to have open hands, and I want you to put your hands onto your low back, so it's right at your kidneys, and I'll just show you from the side. And so all you're going to do is go down the side, and it's going to be like a swoosh. So breathe it in, and then shh. Make that sound. Breath in, shh. It's like you're letting go of all of the fear, all of the worry. Just, it's almost like you're washing yourself with just some cold water. It's like the most refreshing feeling in the world. 2 more. Breath in, breath out. Nice. Feels pretty good, huh? So it's just kind of that flush. And then here's the last of the Gong channels, is the dew line. And so the dew actually starts, well, it starts at your tailbone, and then it goes up your spine, and then up through the nose down to right below your nose. And so instead of going that way, because it's kind of hard to move that way, we're going to go the opposite. So just using your fingers, and if you like to, you can stimulate. This is actually if somebody passes out on you in front of you, you push that thing and you push it upward, you will revive that person. So it's a revival point, but it's where the rin, the conception vessel, and it's where the rin and the dew meet. And so you just use the fingers. Now this, like I told you earlier, we're going to go down as far back as you can reach. And then you're just going to use a loose fist down your spine. And then use both around the sacrum, just because it's always good to engage that sacrum. So this is the second of the first 2 channels formed in Europe. And then come back down. So it makes like an egg-shaped space as that starts to develop our organs. So the dew channel, also called the governor vessel, is how we stand upright in life. And it our backbone, literally. And so that is what you want to think of is when you're thinking of that. So when in utero as it's forming, you've got this soft, sweet front, and you've got this tough, strong back. But it's flexible, right? And so that when we bend, we don't break. And so this is a concept in Chinese medicine that refers to the bamboo. So we're going to talk about the bamboo. We're actually going to be in a bamboo stance several times through this set. And so it's just really neat because bamboo is extremely strong, right? It's fibrous, it's strong, but it doesn't break very easily. So we're going to bring our feet apart. So I'm sorry, I got on a tangent. So let's just feel what that feels like after you've activated all 12 meridians or 12 channels. And you can soften your eyes, allowing the arms to rest out by the sides. And just taking a couple of long, deep breaths. Very good. And so we're going to do a version of the constant bear. So a lot of times we'll widen and we twist, right? This one's just going to be a little different. So the feet are a little bit wider than wuji, right? A little bit wider than hip distance. So you're just going to a little bit wider, maybe more shoulder distance. And then you're just going to shift over to the side. So I wore kind of too loose of pants right today, but so you're going to come to where your foot is off, like the heel is on the floor, but the toes are up. And then you're going to come to center and then shift. So leaning your weight onto the bent side, coming back to center and then over. And back to center and then over. So now we're going to add hands. So we're going to shift over. You're going to rise up with the hands. Breathing in, and then just let yourself drop down. Breathe out. Breathing in, up, like you're carrying a ball over, and then drop it. Breath in, over, breath out. Breath in, breath out. So notice the feeling of that transition. Your hands are going up, and then dropping back down. So there's a pause, a shift that has to happen right at the top. And then you can release it. Breath in, breath out. And I like to play. So if you like to, speed it up a little bit. See what that feels like. If you lose your balance and it feels a little bit off or a little too quick, slow it back down. Honor yourself. Always honor yourself. In any exercise program or anything that you're practicing, remember, you are your best teacher. And just feeling that sensation as the arms go up and then drop down. And then let's slow it down again. And feeling the lightness of the hands. Coming back up. And then back down. One more time on each side. Well, we started on your right, so let's just start on end on your left. Very good. And then as you come up, having the hands up toward the ceiling, allow the hands to paint down like you're a paintbrush down the front of a wall. Very good. And then just let the hands rest on the side. And notice. Take an observation. Notice how it feels. Even slowing down your breath. Moving that quick kind of raises the heart rate and raises the breath intake and out. So just allow yourself to slow it down. We're going to do one more exercise before you do a little standing meditation, and then we'll go into the big part of the set. So we're going to breathe in and draw the hands forward, up towards the top. And so the hands are above you. So you're literally standing up as tall as you can with your arms upright. And so if you do have shoulder injury, bring it down. Find what works. If you can only have one arm up, you got one arm up. Honor yourself, because shoulders are a little funky and they don't really like being overly irritated. So, all right, so now you're holding a ball. Imagine this, if you really like the beautiful esoteric kind of feeling of holding the moon, then do that, because I like that one. Or you can just imagine you're holding a big, soft ball. And then bring the feet out just a little bit more. So not quite a horse stance, but you're a little bit wider than the shoulders. And so we're going to reach over toward your right, and your left foot, I'm trying to mirror you, the left foot is going to push. So with the toes pushing and creating more space to lean. So let's just try that again. So breathing in, center. Breathe out, shift over towards your left, and then push the toes into the floor. Very nice. Breathing in, and then breathing out to the other side. So there's a lot of opposition happening here. So you have to kind of balance out a little bit to stretch that way. And I want to show you from the side, because we're not leaning forward in any way. We're only leaning to the side. So we want to keep that line very clear as we open up the side of our body. And feeling the core strength as you pull yourself upward and then shift over to the side. Let's do one more on each side. Back up. Shift over. Very good. Coming back to center. And then again, pause. And then allow the hands to come forward. Allowing that posture to come to completion. And then letting the hands rest out by the sides. Maybe bringing the feet back into Wuji just a hair. And take notice of the sensation now that your arms are down. Notice what that feels like. So we're going to go right into just a couple of minutes of standing meditation. And you choose what feels good to you. So you can either have your hands in front. So the hands are slightly in front of you. Not way over here, so just a little bit in front of you. Stand up nice and tall, chin is tucked, or you can go into embracing the one. So that is the hands are forward, so I'll show you from the front. And so you want your elbows a little bit below your wrist. And you want it to be a somewhat restful position, even though your arms are forward. And so if you can, close your eyes or soften your gaze. In this meditation, I really want to connect with the tree and the roots into the earth so that I feel the strength and power that the tree offers me. And a lot of with the earth energy is this idea of exchange, exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide with each other. And that's how we function on this earth. So imagine, if you would like, that you're embracing the most beautiful tree that you've ever seen. It could be the tree that you grew up with in your backyard. It could be the tree that you pass every day to work. And you're like, man, that's so pretty. Whatever comes up for you, hugging that tree and letting your chest, your heart, connect with it. And then as you're breathing in, imagine that tree breathing out, offering you oxygen. As you breathe out, you offer carbon dioxide for the tree to breathe in. Feel that connection. Feel your feet becoming with the tree in the root system. Just another moment, seeing if you can let go of anything that's tightening up. Then slowly, as if you have a little butterfly sitting on your fingertip, let the hands go down. Resting the hands back onto the lower dantian to bring that unity, that connection with the earth back into source. Bringing the hands back onto the back. We'll just do a couple circles. We've been standing here for a little bit. And so the rest of our set is very much concentrated on the energetics of the earth and then reverse direction. And so embracing the opposition of the yin and the yang, the axis of the earth, the rotation around the earth. So just noticing that and just embracing that while we do these practices. All right. So this next posture it's very interesting, okay? So it is a little bit of on the challenging side because it's just so many parts. But once you get it, it is super sweet. So it's not hard, like physically hard, it's just, there's just several components. So just roll with me and then just keep practicing it. And if you need to just keep repeating this little segment, do so and have fun with it because it's a dance. So first off, we're going to put our feet together. Like I said earlier, we're going to go into bamboo stance. And so feet are together, heels are together as much as you can. If you can't and your body does not allow that, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just do the best you can on that. And so I'm going to kind of step a little bit to the side. It's going to be interesting to get this in the frame. Or maybe I'll just step back just a little bit. That's what we'll do. Okay. All right. So first off, is we're going to take our hands and we're going to shift over to your right. And we're going to breathe in and you're going to shift up. So as if you're taking this moon up to the sky. So you see my back heel is coming up. So you're pushing off like you're about to launch forward, okay? And then you're going to start to shift and the right hand, I'm trying to mirror you, the left hand is pressing down and you're going to shift over to your left and you're going to rise up. So coming around and then look behind yourself and breathe in and open the spine even more. So that back heel is still up. Breathing in, breathe out, drop that right hand down, keep the left hand where it's at, swoop against the ground, open out, back together. Breathe in toward your left, rise up. And then the left hand will press up, the right hand will press down, shift over to your right, look behind yourself, breathe in, open that spine. Breathe out, take that top hand, drop it down to the ground, open out, back together. So like I said, there's a lot of parts, but it's very beautiful once you get the flow. Let's do it again. Over to your right. Breath in, reach up toward the sky. Left hand presses down, right hand presses up, round to the left. Look back behind yourself, breathe in even deeper as you open the spine. Breath out, drop that top hand. Keep the other hand where it's at. Open out, back together. Breath in, rise that moon. Breath out, left hand presses up, right hand presses down, shift over. Look behind yourself, breathe in, open the spine. Drop that top hand again, brush against the earth, open out, back together. Let's do it again. Breathe in, coming up. Breathe out, shift over. Breathe in, open the spine. Breathe out, drop that top hand. Keep the other hand where it is. Back together. Breath in. Breath out. Breathing in, open. Breath out, drop that hand. Open. Back together. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, shift over. Breathe in, open the spine. Breathe out, drop that top hand, open. Back together. Breath in. Breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Back together. Let's do one more on each side. Breathing in to the moon. Breath out, shift, transition, open the spine. Breath out, drop that hand, open up, back together. Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, shifting over. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, gather. Gather the great transition and opposition of the sweet, sweet Mother Earth. Filling ourselves with this sensation of strength and transition. Bring the hands back onto the lower dantian. And just taking a moment with our feet together in bamboo stance. And notice what happens. You're going to have a little bit of shifting happening, a little twitching in the low back. The legs want to move. It's an odd feeling if you've never felt this before. And you may not feel anything. And as you practice, you will start to feel things. And things will start to adjust itself. It's just a practice. It's preservation or perseverance. That's the word. Very nice. All right. So the next portion of this little set is what we call the celestial snake. So we have the earthly, which we learned in the summer, the 5 animal frolics. The earthly animal is the monkey. And it's very playful and all of the things. But we also often refer to the earth aspect of having a monkey mind. This rumination, this inability to go forward, right? And so you're stuck in a thought pattern and you just keep repeating these patterns over and over and over and over. And so writing, like journaling, is an idea or is a way to get that thought in a direction. So that's the monkey aspect. Well, the celestial, the esoteric and the opening of the earth is the snake. So we are going to be a snake being birthed and getting out of our egg to start our new life. So let's do this. So we're going to come back, feet together, hands right at your lower dantian, standing like a tall little baby snake, little tiny baby snake. And we're in an egg. So you're feeling an urge that it is time. You are ready and it's time for this transition. So we're going to start moving things and start making some space so that we can be born and we can have new birth. All right, so we're going to clasp the hands together. We're going to breathe in, draw the hands up toward the center. Rotate the hands up to the top. So we're just breathing in and reaching up as tall as we can. And we're going to breathe out and look over to your left. Just swivel. So your feet are staying the same. Your hips are just moving ever so slightly. And then come back, center. Breathe out over to your left. Breathe in, open. Breathe out, shift over to your right. Breath in, center, open. Breath out to your left. One more time, breath in. Breath out. Breathing in. And then breathing out to your right. Your left. And then coming back to the center. Stretching up even taller. Like your little bitty snake trying to make some space. And you're going to unclasp the hands. And the hands are going to go out, down the sides. As if you're touching the outer edges of your egg. You're familiarizing yourself with what's around. Very nice. And then we're going to breathe in, coming up. So I'm going to show you from the side. So I'm going to step here. So the hands are going up the center. Breathing in all the way to the top. And then as much as you can without any pain or discomfort, well, you might feel a little stretch, but nothing painful. You're going to come forward fold all the way down and then scoop up the front of your body. So it's as if to bring a little more space even, because we know what eggs are like. There's a lot of stuff in there, right? And so we want to make some space so that we can bust out. Coming back up to the top. And then shift again. Forward fold. Open in the spine. Open up the back of the body. Breath in. Draw up. Back up to the top. Let's do one more. Down. And back up. Back up to the ceiling. Now this time, we're just going to drop it. We're going to do the opposite. So, going back down, the front of the body, down the front of the body, and then open outward, all the way to the top. Let's do that again. Back down. Forward. Creating more space. Making that space for yourself to have the new beginning. It's like getting ready to study for a big test. You need to clean your room. You need to clean your space so that you can think clearly. You can absorb what you need for that test. You can absorb what you need for your next awakening. One last time. Open out. Back down. Oh, I said that was one. Well, we'll just go with it. Forward. And then when we get back up to the top, release the hands. Feel your edges again. Notice the outer parts of your egg. Very good. All right, so the last one, breath in, drawn up once again, up to the ceiling. Our beautiful expression of our snake. And then we're just going to veer over to your right, down to the ground. So now we're really scooping out anything that's holding tight around that egg. I'll show you from the side because you really want to open up the ribs, back down, around. Yeah. So if you notice, all of these moves have been opening up our joint spaces in a very sweet way. And then let's shift over to the opposite side. Softly opening the joints. So the earth aspect is, once again, transition. So if we were bodies that had no joints, we couldn't transition to anything. We couldn't sit, we couldn't stand, we couldn't move. So it's the joints that allow smooth movement. We often call them chi gates, which I like. So when there's things stuck in the joint, the chi doesn't flow. And so with acupuncture, we try to create that flow by opening up the joint spaces for energy to flow again. QiGong exercises are extremely good for this. All right, last one, up to the top. Open the spine again. Undo the hands. And this time, we're coming out of our egg. So the hands are going to go a little forward, like a little jack in the box. So we have arrived. We have cracked through our egg, and we are now a newborn snake. How does that feel? Bringing the hands back onto the lower dantian. Taking a moment to pause and feel the opening of that spine. How tall do you feel right now? It's glorious. And let's breathe in, gathering the sweet energy and the blessings of the celestial snake. The wonderful movements of the earth and the channel that it provides for us to have movement. And the nourishment that the earth is always giving. And so next, we're just going to go into a short meditation again. And we're going to take your right hand and come up the center of the chest. The left hand is going to cup right up underneath it. So you're not actually going to be touching your body. You're going to have a little space out in the front. This is the Earth Mudra. And mudras are postures to just give a remembrance. And so if you will, soften your eyes, soften your breath. Taking this moment in gratitude for the earth and all its capacity to hold space for us, to keep us nourished and vibrant and mobile, so that we can have new life and that we can produce more. And we can truly be ourselves in our unique expression. Slowly release in that, and then switch. Left hand comes back to the center, and the right hand is cupping underneath. And thinking about this mudra and its shape, the hand that's up the center of the heart is the axis that holds us upright, so that we can be an upright creature, a true human, hopefully contributing back to the earth. The hand underneath is the spleen aspect in our medicine of holding capacity, holding you like a mother holds its child. The comfort of that motherly touch on your spine. And the gratitude and the love that pours out of each mother of all walks of life in order to have new life. Slowly releasing the mudra. This one last gathering. A gather of gratitude, thankfulness on this wonderful 2023 Thanksgiving. Gratitude for everything. Gratitude for the trees, the birds in the sky, the air, the ocean, the underneath, the core. The humans that always give to us and support us. Resting the hands back onto the lower dantian, bringing it back into source. Very nice. So we always end class with 3 bows. So if you will, bring one hand together, other hand over its fist. Bowing to each other, thanking each other for coming today, practicing this beautiful ancient medicine. Thank you. Second bow is to our teachers of our past, our present, and the ones that we're not quite ready for just yet. Thank you. Last but not least, bowing to our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, the lineage that made us who we are. Thank you. And I have special thanks to Mimi Kuo-Deemer that so graciously shares all of her sets on YouTube and Vimeo and different platforms, and that is whom I have learned all of this from. And so a special thanks to Mimi. Thank you. Hope you enjoy.